Good day, everyone. I will continue the report about motivating people. So let's go to achievement motivation. So when we say achievement motivation, it is individuals' need to meet realistic goals, receive feedback, and experience a sense of accomplishment. So when we say achievement motivation, it is quietly needed and important for excellence and significant accomplishment despite what rewards may be offered after the achievement are met. So for example, employees in a company who are achievement motivated to do the task. The employees thrive very well in corporations where they can receive um, regular performance evaluations. So, in that case, employees will feel energized and satisfied with their job because goals are set. They are given positive or negative feedbacks towards the past behaviors and given some type of rewards if they perform well. So, achievement motivation evolves in that situation. Also, achievement motivation is to satisfy our needs into accomplishment, what I say earlier, where it involves our mental and physical behavior towards to have a successful outcomes rather. Intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. When we say motivation can be defined as process or state in the mind which promotes, stimulates, and control action toward a goal. While thinking about motivation, let us try to locate some sources, whether internal or external to the person. Let's go to intrinsic motivation. When we say intrinsic motivation is an action which is important and we have that control. So therefore, we need to be focused more and more about our action than bothering and about the outcome of our action or not bothering the reward after our action may be occurred. So for example, uh, I am an employee in a company and my manager give me a task. So I I must do my task as employee. So ang akong buhaton is ang mindset is full of dedication, heartedly motivated sa task nga gihatag. So wala sa akong hunahuna ang reward nga mahitabo sa outcomes sa ako ang gihimong task. So that kind of situation matawag siya og intrinsic motivation nga uh, ako usa ka employee nga wala nagmind sa reward as long as ang task is well done and performed well. So either nasatisfied ang ako ang manager or wala. So that is basically example of intrinsic motivation. So, person's involvement in the task is spontaneous, and the task itself acts as its own reward. Let's go to extrinsic motivation. When we say extrinsic motivation, it is receiving or gaining access to the internal reward. So, mao na ni nahog na ning nga motivation nga at the end of the action nakagipaabot nga reward or kang na ay any kind of reward. So, an external rewards that can be tangible such as money or intangible such as praise or fame. So, for example, ani is you're an employee and you work hard for that positions and you doing the task because there's a promotion ahead or awaits. So, monay extrinsic motivation. So, in the modern society now, extrinsic rewards are being emphasized more and more. So, in this situation, let us give some um, resolution about this kind of rewards nga dili siya pataas pa gyapon sa tuang modern society. Dapat steady gyapon siya together with the internal nga rewards. So This situation is creating many problems in person and social lives of the people. So it is therefore important to plan activities and organize relationships in such a manner that the task remains in the center of interest. So the tasks are involved is must be centered. So kanang it is the best way to have that kind of mindset of a person that steady lang kanang naay gitawag lang siya o kanang na normal way of doing. uh so in that kind of intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation, it involves the task. The instrument of that kind of motivation is the task. So uh, as we grow faster, we need to be organized and do some activities that the task itself may be the center of all doings. Self-efficacy. When we say about self-efficacy, is a belief that subjective standards held by the people inform judgment about choosing a specific goals. Bandura introduced self-efficacy as motivated for people in different settings or in a variety of settings. So persons who are um, trusting themselves or who believe themselves, they can do the task or the action under certain conditions. So it involves determination, dedication also, and perseverance to help seize that you overcome certain difficulties and obstacles in doing reaching your goals. So that is self-efficacy. Um, More specific on personal beliefs that are capable nga ma-reach ang usa ka goals into that kind of uh, mental kanang naay panghuna-huna sa usa ka tawo. So mahimutang ani sa self-efficacy is ang pagsalig sa imuhang kaugalingon na kaya nimo buhaton ng butanga despite all the obstacles or any circumstances nga mo encounter doing that task or actions or setting that goals that you have. So that is self-efficacy. Values. When we say values, it is a person's characteristics. So in motivating people, values are cherishable, desirable, that serve as guiding principles in people's life. So values work as a motivators. Values help us to make a choice and prioritize our needs. So in the analysis of values, moral values are given special significance. These values guide choices and actions. Moral values differentiate between good and bad. In a recent study based on data from several countries, some values have been noted which are given below. So first, the power. Power includes social status and prestige, control and dominance over people and resources. So I could example this as the president or any role models that contribute a lot from their countries. So he have that power uh, to control, to give the social status of their countries. That has over people included. So second is the achievement. Achievement includes personal success by demonstrating competence according to social standards. So I could example this as the students who achieve their goals in in accomplishing the fourth year's college in any courses that make themselves have values and continue their lives as individuals with their passion to be successful and achievement in the future. So third, self-direction. When we say self-direction, it includes independent thought and action, choosing, creating, and exploring. So in self-direction, I could give an example about us or me that have the self-direction towards my life includes the passion of um, pursuing my degree, my having that kind of mental skills to continue even it is hard today because of the pandemic, but you choose to continue and explore the new kind of learning. So in universalism includes understanding, appreciation, tolerance, and protection for the welfare of all people. So it is more about values, having that you are cared from you cared from something or you cared from someone. It is about universal status. So it is more on the welfare of people, the protection of people, the understanding of people towards your decisions as president. I could example of that. Then fifth is the benevolence rather includes preservation and enhancement of the welfare of all people. It is more likely on universalism, um, thinking about the welfare of the people, have that passion, the values of a person who cares from his co-citizens. So that is the benevolence, who who preserve their people, who preserve the the kind of um leadership towards her people or his people. That is benevolence. Frustration and conflict. So now let's go first for the frustration. When we say frustration, it is a feeling within an individual of being blocked in attempts of satisfying the needs which one considers significant. So frustration also is refers to blocking of behavior directed towards a goal. So for example, in a what kanang usa ka adlaw na kay goal is mag-watch ba kag TV, mag kanang nay mong dong ba kag playground or mong ngadtog mall for window shopping, etc. Then nang nananghid ka sa imong ginikanan pero wala ka tugte, so mo na nang maka-feel ta emotionally nga ma-frustrated ta, masuko ta, magdabog-dabog ta og magsingkit-singkit kay wala kita tugte. So mo na ni-encounter na ang frustration. We must be aware that it's not always easy to satisfy the needs. We all face certain difficulties in our attempts to satisfy the needs. So, dili pud tanang goal nga atong gusto is makuha jud nato largo. So moagi patag some difficulties, moagi patag certain obstacles nga ang ato ang goal is ma-accomplish. So mo na frustration. Frustration has three main sources. First is the environmental forces. So when we say environmental forces is people around us. So kani siya is mo-affect gyapon ni sa frustration. So it is the instances that parents, teachers, or classmates may prevent you from doing something what you want to do. So environmental factors can frustrate the satisfaction of motivates. So kanang sa obstacle aning environmental kanang forces, it involves the money, lack of money, or a roadblocks. They may be social or physical. So next is personal factors or limitations. So each of us have personal factors or limitations. So for example, aning personal factors or limitation is kanang the ability to frustrate individuals because they do not let him or her to achieve very high goals. At times, we have the conflicting goals which create frustration. So kaning na nakay gi-aim rong adlaw but imuhang limitation is na ay boundary. So dili jud nato ma-aim ang ato ang goals with kanang na di ta maka-encounter of any certain obstacles or difficulties in doing that goals. So, in limitation also, the person characteristics of individual like personality or intelligence affect performance. So, they make goals unattainable and produce frustration. So, once nga ato ang personal factors or limitation is mo affect na di jud nato dali ma-produce ang ato ang mga goals, then mahimutang paani nga ma-frustrate gihapon ka. So lastly is the conflict. So conflict is a situation in which an individual is required to act in two or more incompatible ways to achieve exclusive goals. So when we say conflict is it occurs on individual is unable to choose between two or more goals. So conflict gani is kanang nakay choices duha but maglibog ka asa imuhang pilion. So conflict may occur. So for example, we may have to decide whether to buy a book or to do window shopping. So nas imong hunahuna nga asa ba ahong buhaton, magpalit pa kog libro or mag-window shopping ra ko. So, mo na ang conflict is ning sud na siya. So, napakoy example isa is kanang makipag-hangout ba ka sa friend or mag-study na lang ka para prepared ka sa imuhang examination. So, ana mo involve gihapon ang conflict of time, conflict of kanang naay asa nimo unahon, mag-conflict pa ka og asay mas bintaha nilang duha nga buhaton. So, at that time, this shows the motivation towards balancing yourself into a conflict. So, kanang naay choosing one of the two decisions nga gusto nimong buhaton is mo involve na jud nga mabalance nimo ang himong kagalingon kung asa imuhang unahon. Pananglitan to ang giingon nga magtuon ba ka or magsigira kag latagaw sa imong mga amigo. So para og ako'y papilion pod adto is muadto na lang ko sa mag-study ko kay mag-gain pa ko og kanang scores kay naay napa ko mahibaw-an kaysa sige ako adto sa akong barkada nga kanang naay way ma-contribute. So mas importante unahon na lang ang kanang naay mag-study ko ay sa na lang ang barkada after the examination. So mo na ang conflict situation nga ato ang ma-encounter. So conflict may some degree of or stages in our life. We sometimes face a situation where we are supposed to choose between two or more alternatives. So there are three types or kinds of conflict. First is the approach conflict. When we say approach conflict, is a positive and equality between two alternative goals. So, kanang na it is caused when we have two pleasurable goals with our reach. We have to sa kaning na ay approach conflict, positive man unta siya but we need to choose only one of that positive. So for example ani is a situation when you are offered admission to two equally attractive courses of study for higher education and you have to decide between them. So na kay ning college na ka, so imuhang standard sa school is na-accomplish nimo ang duha nga imuhang gikapilian but you need to choose only one. So mo na nang conflict attempts gihapon ana. But positive gyapon ang iyahang kanang nay katong ahong situation nga gihatag. It kanang nay choice man to nimo. So kanang na ay imuha tong kaugalingong will. So mo to nahimo to siyang positive kay gusto man nimo, dili siya pinugos. So mo to'y approach conflict. So next is avoidance conflict. When we say avoidance conflict, it is occurs when we have to decide between two equally undesirable and negative goals. So ang avoidance is mo na ni ang kanang pagpili sa dili nato gusto. So for example, a conflict may arise when you have to choose between goals that are equally disliked by you. So ang ako ang example ani is kanang uh, papiliun ka between uh, commute or magmut kanang na ay makisabay. So ang mahimutang ana is ang gusto nimo sa imuhang kasing-kasing is magdala kag motor. Then ang gikon sa imuhang ginikanan is musabay ra kas imuhang udyuan ba or kaila nga gi-refer nimo or kanang commute ka. So sa katong duha nga choices is dili ka ganahan. So mo na nay ning attempt na ang conflict nga avoidance conflict. So lastly is the approach avoidance conflict. When we say approach avoidance conflict is are both attracted and repelled by the same goal. So kaning approach avoidance conflict mo arise na ang positive and negative feelings nga into a goal. So for example ani is you want to marry a girl to whom you love, but your parents are not agreeable to your decision. So ma-feel nimo nga na-positive siya because katong ang positive adto nga example is kanang katong imong pakaslan ang bae. Ang avoidance adto nga means nga negative is katong wa mo kuan imong parents, wa mo agree. So ang nahitabo adto is the boy did not marry the girl as not to hurt her parents as well. So wala na lang ni siya gidayon tong pakaslan tong bae just because di siya gusto nga masakitan ang iyang ginikanan. Then sakto pud ang lucky because for me lang for my kanang viewpoint of that situation is kanang ang ginikanan is isara kanang dili siya ikapuli, but the girl pwede siya nato makita pa ug umaabot pa na nato as a boy. So dili jud nato ikabaylo ang ginikanan sa usara kalbae nga atong ang gigusto. Then this kind of conflict is most difficult to resolve and brings emotional discomfort. So imuha na lamang gidawat sa imuhang kaugalingon nga sakit pud sa imuhang buot kay wa nimo siya mapakasli, but you think the most important nga kanang way para di pud masakitan imuhang ginikanan nga nagluwal pud nimo. So that is approach avoidance conflict.